Good morning, my wonderful friends. Megas here on a beautiful spring morning in the mountains. I had to come out here to Pooh Corner and show you my parents brought me those beautiful flowers. I'm going to put those in the ground this morning, and then I'm going to head up to the library and we're going to start our new book for book club. I'm so excited. All right, we're back up in the library. It feels weird after spending so many days with the Little Paris bookshop. I wanted to say bonjour book club, and now we're in a whole new book, but there's such an excitement. Oh, I can't wait. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go read the first chapter, and I'll be right back. I am so pleased. We just finished a great book. And so sometimes when you start a new book, you're kind of hung over from the last one. But this took me right into the story, and it was so unexpected. This is not what I thought, at least so far, what it was going to be about. It's told from a 6-year-old girl's perspective, which I'm loving. It reminds me of like some shows I really like, Sandlot, Goonies, just young kids on adventures, and there's so much imagination. I love those kind of stories. I did not see that coming. Let's see what we underlined here. Oh, one thing that stuck out to me, the writing is very Southern. And so I was thinking about, I have people in our book club here from different countries around the world, and I'm wondering, as you read that, does it sound weird? Does it read weird because it's got a Southern accent? In the United States, the Southern states, it's almost like a different language, the way they speak. And it's kind of written like that. And I'm wondering, is that throwing you off? Are you able to, or did you already know that? Is this something people know about the Southern states? So right off the bat, we're getting to know the characters, and we're getting to know the town. And this author, who do we have here? I'm new to this. Harper Lee. She, again, paints beautiful pictures with words. And I can feel the heat of that southern town. I feel like I'm getting to know the people. We're getting to know who the gossip is, which is the spooky house. How just even the general feel of the town. Like a town has a certain mentality, especially in the South. Like it's the Bible Belt. And you're definitely getting that. And I think I saw some jabs, some humor in here. We'll take a look at that. So it starts off with when he was nearly 13, my brother Jim got his arm badly broken, and they're trying to think back what led up to his arm being badly broken. And he said it began the summer Dill came to us. When Dill first gave us the idea of making Boo Radley come out, not understanding a word here. What is a Boo Radley? Who is Dill? But you just go along for the ride, and it comes together beautifully. And so it talks about the ancestry of the town, and it's done in a way, it's not boring at all. It's like I'm instantly sucked into it. This caught my eye. So they're talking about her ancestors, and Simon Finch, a fur trapping apothecary. And we just finished a book about a literary apothecary. And so I thought that was kind of a fun little, coincidence there. Or was it? Maybe this book was meant for us. And then see if this is a jab, because everything I read, of course, doesn't go through my filter. So maybe I'm injecting some of my own ideas into it. But did you get this? He was unhappy lest he be tempted into doing what he knew was not for the glory of God, as the putting on of gold and costly apparel. So instead, he bought 3 slaves. Was that funny? He was too religious to wear gold and fancy outfits. So instead, he spent his money on 3 slaves because he's so godly or something. And isn't that probably the way they thought back then? And so I think the author might have been just kind of using a little humor to also make us think about these things that we think we're being so religious and pious and righteous that we don't do. right? I'd never smoke a cigarette. I'd never wear fancy clothes. But you'll buy a slave, or you'll, just it makes you think. Let's see. It was customary for the men in the family to remain on the Simons homestead, Finch's Landing, until the 20th century, when her father, Atticus, went to Montgomery to study law, and his younger brother went to Boston to study medicine. Why does my voice keep going so high? I think I'm excited. It's like 2, 3 octaves higher than it usually is. I guess that means I'm enjoying this book. Ay, ay, ay. Now we're getting to know Atticus. I am liking his character already. So this is the father, and he just gets into practicing law back in his hometown. And right out of the gate, he's falling out of love. It says he grew a profound distaste for the practice of criminal law because he saw his first 2 cases be hung, and there was nothing he could do about it. I love that bothers him. It worries me for people that it doesn't bother, And listen to this character. He invested his earnings into his brother's education. John Hale Finch was 10 years younger and chose to study medicine. And so he's given his money that he's making as being a lawyer to pay for the education of his younger brother. That hit me. I actually got emotional. I don't like, am I overtired from staying up too late finishing my book last night? But it made me emotional. Like, who does that? Who's that? That's a good soul right there. So I'm liking him. I'm liking Scout, our one telling the story to us here. I like Jim, her brother. Dill, I'm still getting to know. He seems like a funny little fella. So let's get to know more about the town. It says Macomb was an old town, but it was a tired old town when I first knew it. In rainy weather, the streets turned to red slop. Grass grew on the sidewalks. The courthouse sagged in the square. Somehow it was hotter then. A black dog suffered on a summer day. Bony, is that what it says? Yeah, bony mules hitched to Hoover carts flicked flies in the sweltering shade of the live oaks on the square. Men's stiff collars wilted by 9 in the morning. Ladies bathed before noon after their 3 o'clock naps. And by nightfall were soft tea cakes with frosting of sweat and sweet talcum. People moved slowly. And you can just feel the atmosphere there. It's hot. It's sweltering. People are moving slow. A day was 24 hours, but seemed longer, like those long summer days, There was no hurry. There's this little woodpecker. He's tiny, and he's driving me crazy. I didn't get much sleep last night because I was reading. He wakes me up this morning, but he's so cute. He's just tiny, got the little red head. He's still got like the furry down. And usually you can go out and clap your hands and run them off, but these little ones, they don't know any better. And so I said, all right, you're probably not going to do too much damage. Just let them go for it. So now Scout's telling us about Atticus, their dad. Says, Jem and I found our father satisfactory. He played with us, read to us, and treated us with courteous detachment. I don't know what that means exactly. I'm sure as we get to know him better, it'll be flushed out. But she likes him. Okay. Calpurnia, I'm guessing, is this a like a live-in maid or something, I'm guessing, because she seems to take care of the children. She seems to be the disciplinarian. She says, I have felt her tyrannical presence as long as I could remember. So she's like, when their mother died, she was brought in and she's kind of taken the mother's place, and sounds like she runs a pretty tight ship. Let's see. So the Radley place, this Boo Radley, this mystery. Who's this Boo Radley they're trying to bring out? It says the Radley place was inhabited by unknown entity the mere description of whom was enough to make us behave for days. Um, that was the summer Dill came to us. So they find Dill. He's staying at his aunt's house. He's going to be coming out every summer. And they're introducing each other. And he introduced himself as, "I'm Dill, I can read." I guess he's real small. Jim guessed he's 4.5. He's going on 7, little older than Scout. And it's funny though, he introduces himself, "Hi, I can read, I'm Dill." And now we get to know Scout can read, because Jim says Scout's been reading since she was born and ain't even gone to school yet. And again, here's that Southern talking here. "Scout yonder's been reading ever since she was born, and she ain't even started school yet." You know, so I can just hear that twang, that Southern draw. Matter of fact, you remember obviously you remember, it was yesterday, in the Little Paris bookshop, though, at the beginning, we would do a French word. We should do a Southern word like y'all or something. No, we won't do that, but that's kind of funny, I think. I don't know. I'm still tired from staying up last night. Ay, ay, ay. Let's see, what else do we have? Dill's kind of bragging about where he comes from. He got to go to a picture show 20 times. Jim says, "We ain't got picture shows here except for the Jesus ones." Dill talks about how he's seen Dracula, and it says Jim then respected him because he's like, wow. And then he asked him to tell him all about it. Kind of describes Dill. Dill was a curiosity. He wore blue linen shorts that buttoned to his shirt. His hair was snow white and stuck to his head like duck fluff. Oh, it sounds like a goofy little thing. Oh, let's see. The summer passed in routine contentment, improving our treehouse that rested between giant twin chinaberry trees in the backyard, fussing, running through our list of dramas, which I thought was kind of cool. They had put on different plays, and how fun is that? Kind of reminded me of, where are you? Here it is. Little Women. Remember they would put on their plays? I thought that was so cool. It reminded me of that. I'm going to have to redo my library, guys. It took me too long to find this book because everything's out of whack. I love the way it looks with the color coordination, but yeah, I need to put my library back. And then I love having like my authors all put together. Speaking of that, several of you were talking about Nina George, the author of the Little Paris Bookshop, that she has other books. We definitely need to get all of her books because her writing is so beautiful. So we will be adding that. And then I like them all together, right? I like my Frederick Bachman's together, and just all my favorite authors I want right there where I can find it. Took me far too long to find this. Oh, so they're doing their plays. They got their treehouse. You know, you can just, I picture it. I can picture this little town and the street and their home. Says, we came to know Dill as a pocket Merlin who is teamed with eccentric plans, strange longings, and quaint fancies. By the end of August, our repertoire was vapid from countless reproductions, and it was then that Dill gave us the idea of making Boo Radley come out. What is this? What is a Boo Radley come out? The Radley's place fascinated Dill in spite of our warnings. Well, let's talk about the place, the Radley house. It had long ago darkened to the color of slate gray. Rain-rotted shingles drooped over the eaves. Oak trees kept the sun away, right? Giving this gothic feel. So you're picturing like these beautiful light painted houses, windows and doors open, and then there's this dark, closed up, you know, almost like you see, I'm thinking like Edward Scissorhands, right? You got your normal town, then up on the hill, this dark, gothic castle kind of a deal. Oh, let's see. Inside the house lived a malevolent phantom, people said, but Jim and I have never seen him. And this Jim, it's spelled Jem. It keeps throwing me. So I'll probably be saying it Jim back and forth. People said he went out at night when the moon was down. If a baseball was hit into the Radley yard, it was a lost baseball, no questions asked. The Radleys kept to themselves. They did not go to church, which is a Maycomb's principal recreation, right? The shutters and doors of the Radley house were closed. I underlined Mr. Radley. I guess he was, though, a man of character, but not necessarily good character. But I like this, that it said Mr. Radley's word was his bond. So the people knew if he told you something, it was a done deal. I like that. Sounded like he was kind of cruel, not a very compassionate, loving type person from what I'm gathering, how he treated his son. So now scouts wanting to know more about the Radleys. Atticus' only answer was to mind their own business, leave the Radleys alone. And so Scout and Jem's not going to take that, right? That's not their personality, I'm gathering. And so they go to Miss Stephanie Crawford. She's like the gossip, I'm guessing, of the neighborhood. I picture her always looking out the window, knows everybody's comings and goings. I just thought of more stories and books like Anne of Green Gables and stuff. I'm not going to go try to find them on the shelves right now. But you can picture this person, right? I think every neighborhood has one. Let's see. The more we told Dill about the Radleys, the more he wanted to know. The longer he would stand hugging the light pole on the corner, the more he would wonder what he does in there. Can you see him just hugging the light pole, staring at the house, his imagination growing wild? Wonder what he looks like, said Dill. And they give him a description about how he's 6.5 feet tall, drags his feet. When he walks, he eats raw animals, blood on his hands and face, you know. Oh. And now here comes the bet. Dill is basically calling Jem a chicken if he doesn't go up and touch the house, right? Go through the gate, go into the yard, touch the house. Again, I'm having such memories. I remember being at my grandma and grandpa's house, and there was a really mean dog that lived next door. And so we would bet each other to jump the fence, run all the way across the yard, and jump out the other side of the fence before the big mean dog ate us, you know. And so I've seen these games, and it takes me back to being a kid myself. Let's see. So he's calling him chicken, and Jem would rather lose his head than be to decline a dare. So Jem, he throws open the gate, sped to the side of the house, slapped it with his palm, ran back past us, not waiting to see, and they chased after him. And as they look back, they think they saw inside a shutter kind of move and flicker. And then that ends there and takes us to chapter 2. So fun. I'm so glad so far. I'm really enjoying it. You know, we didn't have that hangover from our amazing book we just read. That happened with me. As a matter of fact, I probably got it close here. I still need to read this. I didn't finish it because I just read Circe, which had become my favorite book ever. And then I got into this, Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow, which I was really enjoying, but I didn't get all the way through it. I read a lot of it. I feel like I know the story well. I know the characters. I'm close to the end of it, but I need to go back and read it cover to cover because I couldn't stop thinking about Circe. And so I put this down and reread Circe, and I was a little concerned that was going to happen with this book, that we're going to have that little book hangover and I'd be just stuck thinking about it. But there's a reason it's said of this book. Let's see here. One of the best beloved stories of all time. It's been translated into more than 40 languages, sold more than 40 million copies. Let's see, it voted one of the best novels of the 20th century by librarians across the country. So, I mean, it's got all the accolades. It's a popular book for a reason. And I think it was perfect for our next book for book club. Am I forgetting anything? Oh, well, if I am, we'll discuss it in the next chapter. All right, guys, let me know what you thought. What did you get out of it? I love the banter back and forth that we have. I love hearing your guys' opinions. You guys a lot of times see stuff I miss, and that's what's beautiful about it. And you know, I think, and like with the characters, there's some characters that I don't like that you like, and vice versa. And that's what I love about characters too. We get to live in these books. I mean, it just expands our mind so much, because I mean, how many lives would you have to live in all these different people's shoes, to see their point of view? Why do they act the way they do? Why do they do the things they do? You know, and we get to experience it all. It's amazing to me. I find it fascinating. All right, guys, I love you.